Welcome back to our Heritage Reads. This is episode 5 of Being Married by Aziza Idris, read by Hafsa Tilde. What the water couldn't wash. Sometimes silence follows a victory. Sometimes something darker doors. Not every wound shows itself. Not every answer comes when cold. And not everything can be washed away. Umma saw the fluid motion of Hauwa's veil flaring out of the room. She followed right after, calling out to her, but Hauwa had breezed out of the house, tuning everything out. Her heart was filled with so much hurt, her eyes blinded with tears. Only one thing rang in her head, tormenting her mind. She set forth to her new destination. The front of the house was framed with red slotted bricks, which shielded the main door. To the right of the main door was a side door. She stepped in, passing a long corridor which led her to the bare-floored courtyard. She said her pleasantries to the people she found there and walked into the room on her left where her friend was. Laddie jolted up from her mattress when she saw Hauwa. She jumped and flung her arms around her, squealing at the top of her voice. Her full afro hair was left unpacked at the top of her head. She was dressed in a red wrapper and a white blouse. When Hauwa had not returned her hug with the same zeal, Laddie held her friend at arm's length. "My God, Hauwa, you've been crying. Are you all right? Where is our baby? Is she all right?" Hauwa broke down completely, slumping on Laddie's shoulders. She let the power of her sobs overtook her. "Shh, it's okay. Come here." Laddie guided her friend to the mattress that was dressed in a flowery patterned sheet. Her pictures decorated most part of the walls. There were some stray love cards tucked at the corners of her dressing mirror, which was held by a nail to the wall. "Tell me, Hauwa, why are you in this state?" "I need your help, Laddie." Laddie nodded. "Yes, anything please, tell me." "I need to see Nafiu. Can you please arrange a meeting for us?" Laddie's head reared back. Why was her friend asking of her brother? She knew the history they'd shared. Her brother had loved her friend immensely, and it was a huge blow to him when she told him that she already had someone in mind, leaving her brother broken-hearted. Why would she now seek a contact? Laddie held her hand over Hauwa's. "I don't know what is wrong with you now, but he has moved on after so much. I don't think a meeting now will be appropriate." Hauwa nodded, spraying them both with her tears. "I know, this is not about that." She wiped away the stubborn liquid. "I came here for something else. Nafiu used to be a lawyer, right?" "Yes, he is still one." "Then he can help me. I want to file a case against my husband. I want a divorce and I want my daughter's custody." "What?" Laddie exclaimed in a loud voice until she realized how loud she was. She reduced her voice to the barest minimum. "What? You can't do that. Do you have any idea what you are suggesting? Do you know its implications in your life? You are going to ruin your future. No one will come forward to marry you thereafter. What will people say?" "People?" Hauwa scoffed. "Where were the people when I would spend weeks without hearing my husband talk to me? Where were they when he abandoned me and my child? Where were they when I would cry myself to sleep? Where were they when he refused to give me my daughter? I am tired. I can't go on. I must not stand and watch my life fade away. I am more than this. I am meant for better things. Will you talk to your brother?" Her heart had become inured to pain after her meeting with Aliyu on that day, and her only goal was to show him that indeed she was a home for herself and her daughter, and they will thrive with or without him in their lives. Laddie wiped her lone tear and let out a sigh. I think he is home. Come, let's talk to him. 2 weeks later, Alhaji Aliyu Gimba received a court notice seeking his presence, indicating his wife's request for seeking a divorce and custody of their child. You have ruined everything, Hauwa. You want a court case. You think your fellow elites can get you what you want. Then I will see how you can give her a home. You can't have a home, and I am not changing my mind about you. Chapter 3. Unhitched. Hauwa Hamma trembled as her stepmother, Nabiba, led her to the convenience. Her eyes were bleak, but she could make out her way to the familiar seclusion. Take the stone closer. Let me get a bucket in here. Hauwa held Nabiba's hand by a little tap of her finger on her wrist. I will be okay by myself. Don't be stubborn. You can barely stand on your feet. Nabiba, I'm so cold. I think the fever is back. I don't want... Her teeth clattered, stopping her sentence midway. I can't. Nabiba knew whatever had struck her stepdaughter wasn't a mere issue to ignore. As far as she knew, her stepdaughter Hauwa was the cleanest person alive. She would take her bath 4 times a day if she felt like she had a trace of sweat on her. She would make the bed 100 times a day when she saw a crease on the sheets, and their brooms were always shut because of how Hauwa would sweep the whole house multiple times a day. She was exceptionally neat. Sometimes it bothered them. The water is still hot. Let me get it. Hauwa hugged herself to stop the burning within her flesh. Nabiba, bring that medicine. I think it will help keep the fever down. What medicine? The herb. It is in my brown bag. Nabiba's forehead squeezed as she squinted her eyes at her stepdaughter. What herb are you talking about? Look, come out. We can't be talking in the bathroom like this. When the fever has come down, then you can take your bath. Ina held her up, and they returned to the bedroom. Were you talking about? Nabiba asked, as she tucked her into the bed. The green one you gave me after my delivery. Hauwa, are you sure? I've not given any herb to you. You should ask Iner Abdul. Maybe she was the one that gave it to you. As if on cue, Ina, Hauwa's mother, came into the room holding a steaming bowl of potash pap. Aha, Iner Abdul. She is talking about some herbs. I have not seen it. She said it might help with her fever. Ina set the bowl at the foot of the bed and took the said bag out, searching for the pouch Hauwa had mentioned. When Ina held the pouch in her hands, she turned it around. Hauwa, where did you get this? Hauwa narrowed her eyes. She didn't feel like talking. Her head was pounding hard. After my delivery, you sprinkled some in my bathing water. I found the rest in the bathroom by the bucket of water, so I continued using it daily. Ina and Nabiba exchanged looks. Ina opened the pouch and inhaled the greenish weed-like herb. She quickly drew her head back, tying the pouch in a knot. None of us had kept this for you. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Ina said. How long have you been using it? Nabiba asked. I stopped using it after 40 days. Ina nodded her head in amazement. She went out with the stuff and dumped it in the trash. Sagiru is coming back soon. He will escort you to the hospital. Next time, you should talk before you use anything you see. I don't understand Why you will just start using anything without knowing who kept it or what it is. Hauwa closed her eyes and slowly spoke. Inna, there were guests in the house and I was already delayed by them to take my evening bath. That was why I didn't come out to ask. Yakaka was here and you know how she is when she starts talking. Inna Biba returned to the room with Saima bundled in a soft Ankara wrapper. Can you sit up? I think she needs to feed now. Hauwa nodded, causing a severe pain to shoot through her head. She took Saima from Inna Biba's hands and they were left alone in the room. It had been 2 weeks since the divorce was granted by the judge, but before then, Saima was brought back to her on Umma's persistence, and since then, Hauwa had been sick. At first, when she felt a headache, she dismissed it as a sign of stress because of all the coming and going and the stress of the court proceedings. Likewise, family and neighbors, people kept trooping in to see the woman who dared to drag her rich husband to court. Most of them said things that weren't pleasant, but she had already grown a thick skin against such people. Even then, she would break down at times and cry into the night. She still loved her husband, but what he did was unforgivable and inexcusable, and she was proud of herself for stepping away. All that mattered was that she was with her daughter and that her daughter was her strength. Allah was with them. Later that evening, when the two sister wives were eating their dinner from the same bowl, Inna Biba looked up from her morsel, leaving her hand suspended in the air. Inna Abdul, I've been thinking about that herb. Now that Hauwa has mentioned it, I begin to have my doubts. Where do you think something would spring up and find itself in the bathroom? So it got me thinking, and I remembered something. Allah knows it is not good to be suspicious, but when she mentioned Yakaka, I couldn't help but remember the day Yakaka came here, that girl was also here. Inna slowly swallowed, taking her hands out of the kuka soup. Which girl? Safiya's sister, Safiya, Ali's ex-wife. My mind had not settled with that girl. Why would she befriend Hauwa? Just because she used to be his ex-wife? You know how Hauwa is with people. Everyone is her friend and she warms up to them easily. But then, the girl said she was here to deliver a message to Hauwa. She came bearing a leather bag containing some baby stuff, saying it was her sister's gift to this baby, Saima. Now, I may not have seen her go into the bathroom, nor did I see her sprinkling something in Hauwa's bucket. But something tells me they have something to do with this herb. Nothing will come to effect if Allah does not will.